Over the course of tennis history, we've seen some truly absurd individual seasons. 69 Laver, 74 Connors, 84 McEnroe, 2015 Djokovic. But have we ever seen anything like 2006 Roger Federer? I mean seriously, 92 wins, 5 losses, finals in 16 out of 17 tournaments, 12 titles, 3 Grand Slams, the year-end championship. He held the #1 ranking every single week of the year. He lost to only 2 players, both teenagers. David Foster Wallace watched him play and called it a religious experience, and yet he couldn't win the French Open. A 19-year-old named Rafael Nadal made sure of that. But here's the thing, that loss didn't diminish the season, it completed it. Without Nadal, 2006 is a sterile exercise in perfection. With him, it becomes a story, the greatest player on the planet, at the absolute peak of his powers, meeting the one opponent he couldn't solve. So here's the story of 2006 Roger Federer, or as I like to call him, the Anomaly. By 2006, Roger Federer had already rewritten the record books. 7 Grand Slam titles in 2 years, 11 titles in 2004, 11 more in 2005. Back-to-back-to-back years at world #1. The man was running tennis like a dictatorship. But here's the thing, Federer's path to dominance wasn't inevitable. As a junior, he was known for his temper, racket smashing, on-court tantrums, raw talent wrapped in emotional chaos. The man who tamed that chaos was an Australian coach named Peter Carter. He met Federer when Roger was 9 years old, shaped his technique, his temperament, his identity as a player. They traveled together. Those who knew them described it as a father-son bond. Federer would later call Carter the most important coach of his life, the one he always wanted to make proud. In August 2002, Peter Carter was killed in a car accident in South Africa. He was 37. Federer was 21, playing a tournament in Toronto when he got the news. He ran through the streets, unable to stop crying. Carter never saw Federer win a Grand Slam, but the player he built won his first Wimbledon 10 months later, and he never stopped honoring the man who made it possible. Every year at the Australian Open, Federer flew Carter's parents to Melbourne, seated them in his player box, and kept them close. By 2006, that grief had long since transformed into purpose. Federer was 24, no full-time coach, just fitness trainer Pierre Paganini, the quiet presence of partner Mirka in his box, and the technique Peter Carter gave him. The season opened with a 16-match winning streak, and it only got more absurd from there. Federer opened 2006 like a man who couldn't lose. He won Doha, then the Australian Open, dropping only 1 set in the final against Marcos Baghdatis before dismantling him 5-7, 7-5, 6-0, 6-2. He entered the season carrying a 56-match hard-court winning streak, the longest in Open-era history, 16 matches in, still unbeaten. Then he arrived in Dubai. And for the first time all year, someone stopped him, Rafael Nadal, on a hard court. The 19-year-old from Mallorca beat Federer in the final, ending the streak and delivering an early warning. This rivalry had no surface limits. Federer responded the way only Federer could. He won Indian Wells, then Miami, the Sunshine Double, with every set in the Miami final decided in a tiebreak against Ivan Lubicic. Then came clay. He reached the final at Monte Carlo, lost to Nadal. Reached the final in Rome, lost to Nadal, in 5 sets, in 5 hours. Federer came to the net 84 times, won a first set tiebreak 7-0, led 4-1 in the 5th, had 2 match points, hit 0 double faults in the entire match, and still lost. Then, the French Open final. Federer won the first set. For a moment, 3/4 of a calendar Grand Slam felt real. Then, Nadal clawed back and closed it out in 4. 3 clay finals, 3 losses, all to the same teenager. But what happened after the French Open is what makes 2006 unlike any other season in tennis history. After Roland Garros, Federer didn't slow down, he accelerated. He won Halle on grass, then Wimbledon, opening the final against Nadal with a 6-0 first set, 4 consecutive Wimbledon titles. He won Toronto, then at Cincinnati, a 19-year-old Andy Murray beat him in the second round. Straight sets. It was the only time all year Federer lost before a final, and the only straight set loss of his entire season. It was also his last loss of 2006. From Cincinnati forward, Federer won 29 consecutive matches. He took the US Open for a 3rd straight year, beating Andy Roddick in the final. He won Tokyo, Madrid, then Basel, his hometown tournament, the event where he'd been a ball boy as a child. He dreamed of winning it his whole life. It took until 2006 to finally lift the trophy. He closed the season at the Masters Cup in Shanghai, beat Nadal in the semi-final, then demolished James Blake 6-0, 6-3, 6-4 in the final. 48 wins in his last 49 matches, a 29-match streak that would stretch to 41 into 2007. That summer, David Foster Wallace attended Wimbledon and wrote what became the most famous sports essay of the decade. He described Federer as a player who appeared exempt, at least in part, from certain physical laws. A press bus driver told Wallace that watching Federer play live was a bloody near-religious experience. The essay captured something that statistics alone couldn't. It wasn't just that Federer was winning. It was how he was winning. The forehand that could go flat or topspin from any position. The serve placement that made returners guess wrong. The footwork so smooth he appeared to glide rather than run. All of it powered by a Wilson Pro Staff 90, one of the smallest racket faces on tour. A choice that demanded extraordinary precision and offered none of the forgiveness modern frames provided. In an era trending toward two-dimensional power baseline tennis, Federer played every style at once. Serve and volley, chip and charge, drop shots, sliced backhands, surgical angles. He was, as Wallace put it, proof that beauty and competitive dominance could coexist. For all the dominance, one question haunted the season. If Federer was the greatest, why couldn't he beat Rafael Nadal when it mattered most? Their 2006 head-to-head was 4-2 in Nadal's favor. Federer won at Wimbledon and the Masters Cup. Nadal took all 3 clay finals and stunned Federer on hard court in Dubai. And on clay, where Grand Slam immortality waited at Roland Garros, the Spaniard was immovable. The tactical problem was almost cruel in its simplicity. Nadal's left-handed topspin forehand kicked high to Federer's one-handed backhand. On slow clay, where the ball sat up and spun, that single pattern became kryptonite. Federer could attack the net, redirect with his forehand, vary his angles. He tried everything. In Rome, he played some of the most aggressive clay court tennis anyone had ever seen, and it still wasn't enough. After the French Open final, Federer said, "I won the first set easily, and usually in a situation like that, I don't let things go by. But it's a final. It's against Nadal. It's on clay." An ESPN columnist later compared Federer to Sisyphus, condemned to fight his way to the top of the draw at Roland Garros, only to be pushed back down by the same man every time. Andy Roddick, who knew what it felt like to lose to Federer, put the whole era in perspective. "I threw the kitchen sink at him, but he went into the bathroom and got the tub." But here's what makes the Nadal rivalry the key to understanding 2006. The loss didn't diminish the season, it completed it. Without Nadal, Federer's 2006 would be a sterile exercise in perfection. With him, it became a story. The greatest player in the world, at the absolute peak of his powers, meeting the one opponent he couldn't solve. That tension is what makes the season unforgettable. So was it the greatest season ever? The debate usually comes down to 2 names, Federer 2006 and Djokovic 2015. Djokovic's case is strong. He went 82-6 with 11 titles, 3 Grand Slams, a record 6 Masters 1,000 crowns, 31 wins over top 10 opponents. He won on clay. He dominated his direct rivals. But Federer's 2006 has something Djokovic's doesn't, the sheer impossibility of the numbers. 92 wins, 12 titles, finals in 16 of 17 tournaments, lost to only 2 players on the planet, both teenagers, and he did it all while playing 97 matches in a year when Masters finals were still best of 5 sets. Taylor Fritz, reacting to those numbers years later. "I can't begin to tell you how insane playing 97 matches in 1 year is." Some argue Federer's era was weak, that Djokovic and Murray were teenagers, that the field behind Nadal lacked depth. But the counter-argument is simpler. Federer didn't play in a weak era. He made everyone else look weak. Pete Sampras, who held the Grand Slam record at the time, watched Federer and offered a verdict that settled nothing and said everything. In Rogers' days, he's unbeatable. John McEnroe's 1984 had a higher win percentage. Jimmy Connor's 1974 had more titles. Rod Laver's 1969 had the calendar Grand Slam. Each has its claim. None had the combination. No player in the modern era has matched 92 wins, 12 titles, and a 94% finals rate in the same year. Nobody has come close. And maybe the most remarkable thing about 2006 is the detail that should have disqualified it from greatness, but didn't. Federer lost the French Open final to a 19-year-old, and it still wasn't enough to keep this from being the most dominant season tennis has ever seen. 92 wins, 12 titles, 3 Grand Slams, no coach, 1 rival, and a season that nobody has matched since.